Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Here we are.
Here we are.
I'm Jackie, by the way. We never do tell anyone.
I'm Laurie. Well, I don't even want people to know. Who cares?
So this week on In the World of Stand-Up Comedy, I'm hosting Wendy Liebman's show for her.
Oh.
Because she's still recovering.
Oh, right. Oh, my God.
Right, because she got hit by that car.
Oh, my God.
Remember that?
Yes.
And it broke both of her legs, and then they had to re-break her legs because they set them wrong.
What?
Yeah, there was some sort of problem. Did you not hear about that?
No.
Yeah. I don't have all of the information, so allow me just hearsay-wise.
Oh, my
Just
God.
to tell you what scuttlebutt that I've got. It was bad. Yeah. But so she's been trying to fix herself, and
Jesus Christ.
right.
That's awful.
Yep. So
Oh, my God.
she asked me a couple of months ago if I'd hosted for her. And I told her, I was going to need a lot of money. No. I was like, here's what I don't want at Vitello's, which is where Robert Blake did not kill his wife. That's where it's held, at Vitello's over there in Toluca Lake.
Why did you bring
studio.
Robert Blake into it?
Because he killed his wife over at
but
Vitello's.
he was found innocent.
Yeah, he was found innocent.
So she died.
Yeah, because he left.
passed
Remember,
away.
he left his gun in the car.
Yeah.
and then she was shot at their table in Vitello's, and then now there's stand-up
when
comedy
do you expect
there.
us to be there when there's a serial killer on the loose?
Well, I think Robert Blake died, didn't he? Is Robert Blake dead? I don't know. Knock this.
Got to be dead.
He might be. Probably died of natural
You know what?
causes.
Killers live a long time.
Killers live.
They don't seem to mind.
Murderers.
I will be.
Still alive, living the good life. Robert Blake.
I will be
All right.
at the Comedy Attic July 5th through the 7th.
Oh, cool.
And I'm flying out on the 4th of July. I'm making a big effort, people. So if you're nearby, come on out to the shows.
Oh, Bloomington, such fun shows.
I know.
Such fun shows. This weekend, I'm doing that new club in Kansas City, which I'm very excited
cool.
about.
I'm excited to hear about that,
Me too. I'm excited. And then I think in July, I'm doing Stir Crazies again.
Nice.
Yeah.
In July, I'm doing the Improv at Lake Tahoe.
Nice.
July 24th through the 28th.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's great.
I think it's at Harvey's or Harrah's. One of the H's in the Nevada part of Lake Tahoe.
And Lake Tahoe is gorgeous. You know
I'm gonna
what
bring
I
my
think is
kid,
gorgeous?
and we're gonna do like lake stuff during the
Yeah,
day.
you could do lake stuff. My favorite, I think Reno's beautiful. I know, I'm alone.
I haven't been there in a while.
It's in a valley over from Tahoe.
Yeah.
And so it's the more mountains. It's very pretty.
Maybe it's the people that are unattractive.
I also like the people, because here's the thing about Reno that I
Wow,
like.
I guess you're just all up in Reno then.
I'm up in Reno because here's my thing about, and I haven't been to Reno in a dozen years.
I haven't been
time
there.
was
I used to work the Hilton all the time when John Fox booked it.
I booked the Silver Legacy. The comedy club's still there. It's not a Catch anymore. Catch Rising Star.
What
But
is
that's
it?
what I worked.
Is it just called the Silver Legacy Comedy Club?
I don't know what it's called, but the last time I did it, Dennis Miller was doing the theater in the basement.
Oh yeah, you got
And
a spot in, right?
Yeah, they asked me if I'd open for him. And so the weird thing is, what I like about Reno is that everyone who comes to Reno, it's different from Vegas.
Yes.
Everyone who comes to Vegas thinks that it's going to be glamorous and they're going to win.
It's way less touristy. It
Right.
feels like locals that know how to
feels like
gamble.
they're just essentially, it's just a couple of it's a ranch couple
Yeah.
who's like, let's go throw $200 up in the sky and shoot it.
Everyone's from the Bay Area in Reno, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, well, let's go have a buffet and lose $100 and spend 2 nights in a hotel and.
I just lost. I'm trying to spend $10 a week on the California lottery.
Oh, are you?
I'm down $20.
Oh, so you're 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in.
Yes,
It's because you would like to win the lottery.
yeah, I would.
Okay.
That would.
Let's put it out there. Lori would like to win the lottery.
One could argue I have.
Yes.
Because I get to do a podcast with Jackie Cation.
Come on. This is look at this attitude. Second hour in, we've already cheered her up. She feels like she's won the lottery. This is nice.
The thing is, okay, so how like, I don't even know how I would date somebody because I would immediately drop a guy for a spot. Right?
You know what that is? That's the wrong guy.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't. It's not.
Really?
That's not you. That's not you. That's him.
Ah.
That guy. No, and the thing is your surprise
That
is not
reframes a lot of relationships.
Yes. Here's the thing.
Huh.
It is not, and that is not surprising because the frame that you have lived in for the last 31 years is a frame entirely dominated by stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. And so, and for some reason, we have all been told that this is some sort of, it isn't real. It isn't a job. It's too much. You like it too much. It's too much fun.
Right.
All of these things. And so.
By guys. I mean, by significant others. I'm sure male comics hear it from.
Parents.
Yeah,
Are you kidding
sure.
me? Until I got on television, my parents were like, well, yeah. My sister was, and this is not to, it was very, this is an old story. When I was 21, I graduated from college. Mm-hmm. I, went to Europe for a couple of months and was drunk. And then I came back and was drunk in Milwaukee and I got a day job, right? And I just wanted to get a job and do open mics and try to break into the scene in Milwaukee and figure out what I wanted to do if I wanted to move to Chicago. And I lived with my sister and her partner at the time. And my sister was like, you worked for 3 summers at a hot dog stand. You were assistant managing. You could manage a Pizza Hut or a McDonald's or something like that. I will get you interviews. And I was like, it's going to take too much time. I need to have an idiot job during the day.
Yeah.
So I don't spend all my, I was like, I could sell because I have a sales background.
Yeah.
I could make plenty of money doing sales, but that when you sell, I genuinely believe this, when you sell, you use all of the energy you would have used on stage in a sales job. Same thing when you do warm-up. If you do the reason I never wanted to do warm-up when I moved here is because I didn't want to use all that energy. I wanted to save it for stand-up.
Yeah, that's true.
You can work around it. When Brody Stevens first started doing stand-up, he would then come and do sets afterwards, and he was so full of rage that, and because he could say anything he wanted.
Yeah.
And he couldn't all day long. So initially,
he also
for that first...
did it the way he does stand up.
Well, and
in a way
that changed.
Yeah. Oh.
It changed from like 2000. That first couple of years that he did warm up and then did sets at night. When I would see him do sets, I'm like, this is why I don't do sets. And then like a couple of years later, I'd see him do sets, and I was like, oh, he figured it out. He figured out a way to compartmentalize and turn it into. It's sort of like you. Mm-hmm. You were one of the first people I ever met that had that full-time writing job and did sets at night. You and Brian Kiley, and I was like, can't be done. And then I met you, and I was like, turns out you probably do that. You figure out how to do it.
Depends on the show and the hours too.
Right.
I mean,
so
yeah.
But to get back to the dating thing, it was defined so much. Anyway, but my sister I'm going to tell 3 stories at once. My sister got me the interviews. I went into the interviews. I hated. I was like, I don't want these jobs, so I sort of tanked the interviews from the get. And I will never forget that McDonald's interview. I walked into this conference room, and there was a woman seated.
So management at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Wow.
A management job for McDonald's. And so I walk into this thing. I'm wearing pantyhose. First of all, it's a terrible idea.
Oh my God!
And so I'm walking in, and I'm wearing my version of
the only
like a
pantyhose that should be in a McDonald's should be on the face of someone who's robbing it. Sorry,
like that.
I had that line.
You had to do it,
and I had to do it. I apologize.
I don't blame you. So I walk in, woman's there. Before I sit down, she's seated. I have to walk across the room in this conference room to her.
Oh my God!
Before I'm seated, she goes, "So what do you think you have to offer McDonald's?" That old shitty question.
No,
and
that's
granted,
real?
Yeah, and granted, it was 1989.
Sure.
And I said to her before I sat down, I walked all the way to her, put out my hand, and I said, "Hi, I'm Jackie. How's your day going?" So I didn't answer her fucking question. Guess
so Elliot.
And I guess who didn't get the job? This one. And guess who didn't want the job? Me as well. Anyway, so
I went through this vacuum cleaner salesman training. Yes, to sell rainbow vacuum cleaners. Did I tell you this before?
No.
They are really good, by the way.
No, they're great.
They use water. they trap the
water?
dust with water, right?
Do they trap the dust with water?
And they have like 90 parts. They're a pain in the ass, but they're in a way they're really great. And you would cold call and make an appointment and then go to someone's house and clean their such a fucking racket.
Yeah.
You gave them knives. Seriously, you gave them knives, and then you had a machine that would clean up any sort of evidence of a stabbing.
Yes.
Were they to kill you.
Right.
And so I sold like 3. And one of them was to my mom. The other was to my mom's best friend. But
right, which is, that's classic.
But then I had this job interview at this place called Tap Plastics. And I don't know what they did, and I'm sure they're out of business. But I remember...
They fucked plastics. I had to say that line for some reason.
Jackie, did you? Did you?
You came with me with the pantyhose, so I had to do it. Anyway, go.
So competitive. You know what? Just fucking let it go. But there was women my age, like 22, and they were just all into Tap Plastics, and it was like a training program, and I hadn't figured out. Maybe they were 21 because I hadn't even seen stand-up comedy live at that point. I was just like, what's happening? What is this?
Right.
And, I did not want to be part of it at all.
No. So here's what I did. Here's what you got to do. You got to make that part of your list of what you want in some sort of dating life partner. Right?
Someone I could drop immediately for a spot?
Or who would come along and just kind of go get a soda in the bar. You don't want him watching the set?
No.
Okay, well then he'll hang out.
Right.
Cash Levy went out with my friend Anna Becker for 2 years, never let her watch a set. And I literally would say to her,
awesome.
He's not very good. And then he was like, what are you telling her? And I said, I'm just kidding. Let her watch your fucking set.
But they get sick of comedy really fast. And then
Andy Ashcraft doesn't come with me because he's been allowed to come with me. Yeah. And now he has his own life, which he had before.
Does he get mad at you for doing comedy?
No. Do you know why? He wants me to be happy. And he doesn't get mad at me for doing anything I want to do. It's one of the great things about Andy Ashcraft is that he treats me like a whole person. So he wants to go play games. Right. It would be like me saying, like he dropped me off here and he went over to his buddy Rizwan's. They're having some sort of pool party, some sort of social event.
Rub it in my face, Jackie.
Well, I didn't want any part of it, even though I like those people. Mm-hmm. But I knew that it was going to be like a dozen people, and I would have gone if we had. I mean, I'm not above going to the thing with him, but he doesn't have a problem going alone. So it's important, I think, for me anyway, to have someone that you don't have to babysit. And it was important for him to have someone that he was like, I like that we could just go to a party. And I don't have to watch you. I don't have to make sure you're having a good time. Because I'm going to have a good time, or I'm going to sit in a corner and play with the cat. Mm-hmm. Literally, he's not obligated.
It's weird. I met up with an ex a couple visits ago in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if this could be like a, periodic booty call. And then I was like, nope.
No, there's not enough left. There's not enough mystery here for me to give this another shot. Fair enough. But I think, what I did do is you just gotta, and this is in many self-help books, and I haven't read them, but somebody told me that this was in a self-help book, so I did it. It's sort of like the one time I fasted. It was in a book, but I hadn't read it. Anyway, so you write down a list of the things that you're looking for, that you would ideally like in a partner.
Right.
So it's sort of like all those lists. You put it out to the universe. The universe takes a look at it, and then you get something like that. Mm-hmm. Or you don't. I don't really know how the list thing works, but it's a good idea to focus your thoughts. Because then if you do have that list and you meet somebody, you're like, oh, that's actually a deal breaker. He can't do that. And doesn't make him a bad guy. It just makes him not the guy for you. So that is that. Okay, so when I was in Dayton, yesterday on my airplane flight, I wore my entire Captain Marvel tracksuit. I'm wearing the pants right now.
Oh, yes, you are.
I wore the jacket and the pants, and it cheered me up. I see why people wear their sport team football jersey or whatever.
Oh, I see.
Or why old people wear a sparkle clothes or whatever they're wearing. It is cheerful. I felt happy.
Fashion can be used to make you feel better.
I don't know.
You're learning a lesson at age 53. Most girls learn at age 11.
13. Yeah,
Yes.
possibly. It's well, it was super fun. And then I had several people inappropriately call me Captain America. And I was like, Captain Marvel, thank you very much. You can stream it now. I've almost bought it 3 times streaming, but the DVD comes out Tuesday. I will be purchasing
Why would
it.
you would prefer a DVD over streaming?
Yes.
Why?
Because then I can... I would like to fast forward to just the parts I want to see sometime. I'm going to watch it. I'll watch it many times. But sometimes I just like to watch the one scene I want to see.
Oh, I see.
And that's easier on a DVD than it is on a streaming because of buffering.
Okay.
Yeah. Though
I'm not that much of a
assume
connoisseur.
what do you think, Kyle? If I download, can I fast forward easier or does it still have to reload?
If you hard download, you could.
Yep.
It just depends on what your preference is.
My preference is to fast forward sometimes.
Sometimes you can get both. You can get the digital with your.
Well, with the DVD always comes with a digital download card that I've always ignored. But Kyle just said same. Yeah, someone told me that they just watched it, and I said, wait, is it? And this was a week and a half ago, and I was like, wait, is it available download? He said, no, I stole it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't approve of that. Gramication would like you to send somebody $11. So
Wait, what?
I don't approve of the stealing of downloadable
Oh, of course
material.
not. No.
It's that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You know how the last episode I was depressed because I don't have any material. I don't
Yeah.
feel like I have any. Now I'm depressed because I have nothing to offer this podcast.
Oh, interesting. Fun fact.
I gave it all to the one we did an hour
Where
ago.
did you live until you were 5 years old? Have you always lived in Walnut Creek?
My parents jumped around a little bit, so
In the beginning?
they took me with them. Of
Oh,
course.
thank God.
I
Wait, is
lived-
your sister younger or older?
younger?
Okay.
She was born and raised in the same house. I was I lived in Turkey for a little while and Germany when I was very little because my dad had jobs over there.
Right, he had jobs over there. But until you were what, like 3 or 4?
Like two, yeah.
Oh, just 2?
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of those?
No, but I do have the scar on my mouth that reminds me of the dog that bit me in Germany.
There was a dog in Germany that bit you?
Yeah.
Was it a German Shepherd?
It was.
Oh. What's happening, Germany? And
Here's the thing. That would be... If I were in a country that had just 20 years ago been in the grips of the Nazi party, I probably wouldn't have a German Shepherd. Like, let's leave that breed to another country. Right?
so
Why
when
don't
you
we
were a
get,
tiny child,
poodles?
Yeah. Let's all have Shih Tzus. Are they called Shih Tzus? It's fun to say the word Shih Tzu, it turns
You
out.
are, even though your fashion sense is 53 years old, your sense of humor is 13 years old.
Nine. Let's talk about farting. So here, well, I would say this is so you guys moved to the Bay Area when you were 2.
I was born in my dad was living in the Bay Area. My parents lived there for a little while, and then my dad got a couple jobs overseas, and then we came back. So maybe I was like 4 when we moved to.
And how old's your sister's? How much younger?
4 years younger.
Okay.
So she was 0.
She was born
She was
there.
born at 41 Wanna Court, which was torn down.
Oh, yeah?
Did I tell you that?
No, do you want me to go to Photoshop myself into a photo of,
Oh my God! How
of Google
mean.
Photos? It would be really not okay.
No, my childhood home in the entire neighborhood
Yeah.
was raised.
Yeah.
So a developer could put condos up there near a BART station, which is public transportation,
Right.
with the promise that there would be low income condos in the development, and there weren't, and everyone got away with it except the county supervisor, Sonny McPeak, who approved it, died.
Oh, but that probably didn't kill him, and his kids still inherited all the money that he got for it. The grift.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a woman. A woman could also be a horrible person.
No,
Yes,
come on. Not in
Jackie.
this day and age. Hashtag you too. What? So just me. Hashtag just me.
Anyway, who cares?
But so wait, so that's so when you were 4 and she was 0, from that point on, you lived in Walnut Creek.
we lived in that house till
Yeah.
1989 when
Right.
it was raised, and then we moved to Pleasant Hill.
Oh.
I was 20.
But you were grown up in
four at that
89.
time. Yeah, but
but you were living at home. 'Cause
Oh,
of
I was
stand-up.
living at home. Yeah, I
Yeah.
lived there for till I was like 32, and then I moved to New York. I did
Okay.
everything 10 years after everyone else did. Everyone in San Francisco was moving to LA when they were like 25 or 26.
Not
Like,
Johnny Steele.
Not Johnny.
No.
He's the only one.
Johnny Steele is going nowhere. Larry Bubbles. Bubbles doesn't want any part of
Are you
moving.
slamming all these comics that I grew up with?
No, I'm saying those guys didn't move anywhere.
They didn't move. No.
No, because you're saying that they all did things that you didn't do. Those two guys specifically
They weren't
did
who
not.
I was including. They're not in my generation of comics. So starting out, I'm talking about Greg Barrett, Margaret Cho, Laura Milligan.
Isn't Bubbles our generation?
No, he's
older than
He's
us?
like on Feldman, like a David Feldman level.
4 or 5 years older?
I'd say they're 10 years older than us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, they're a generation ahead.
All right.
They're
This is a fascinating part of this podcast. I know that everyone's taking notes. Yeah.
Is any part of this podcast interesting to anyone but you and me? I don't
Yes.
understand it.
Feel free to write that as the title. Tappity
Johnny
Tap goes Kyle.
Steele, a couple years older, but when I started, he was already featuring. So to me, he's in a different generation,
Okay.
right? And
Right.
even though Matt Weinhold is about the same age, he was like featuring when I started. So
Okay.
yeah,
So those guys all moved down here, or they went to New York, or
everyone
both?
moved to LA, and I just couldn't leave. I didn't want to leave my
sweet
dad.
gig?
Here's the thing: my dad worked over. I feel like I said this before, so I'm a little uncomfortable getting into the weeds. But my dad worked overseas when I was a teenager, and when he came home finally, I was like in my early 20s, and I was like, I want to be with my dad.
Oh, okay.
So I just stayed at home and worked the road from the Bay Area, and I liked working the road. I did, and I was. People, it seemed like everyone was going to LA to act, and I didn't. Alternative comedy, I didn't like it, you know. And Janine was mean to me once, so I was like, oh, they all hate me. So I'm gonna not move there.
Right. So many decisions based on like
Based
3 or
on
4
Janine kind of
Janine
like
just not
sneering
thinking
at
about
me
you one
once
time.
at the San Francisco Improv sitting on the stairs.
Hey, the punchline's going to stay. Did you see it?
I saw. I hope that's true.
Yeah, that was an article. It was that
I hope
they changed.
that
the
would
zoning.
be amazing. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be great. If they specifically came up with a law that made the punchline.
We're recording this the week that I'm going up there because I'm doing Throck, and then the Wednesday's dark. And
Yeah.
I've dabbled in looking into some spots on the Wednesday, but I have Caitlin Gill's gonna record, I think, her album on that Wednesday at the Punch. So I may go in, though I'll be staying in Mill Valley that Wednesday. So I'll have to come over the hill or over the bridge.
You're going to
and-
stay an extra night at the hotel
Yeah.
with Rock. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. What a great little 2 days of your life.
It'll be another.
Is Andy going to
opportunity-
go with you?
No, he's coming to Roosters though, because I'm doing Rooster
Okay.
Teas.
And that's a good hotel.
Yeah, it's a perfectly fine
Yeah.
hotel, and it'll be lovely. And then
But Mill Valley.
Mill
What
Valley.
a sweet little town that Nancy who's the director, the female director? Is it Nancy
Lyons?
Myers? Yeah,
Myers.
it's a total Nancy Myers movie. Every woman there is like 55 wearing Coldwater Canyon.
Remember, she made all those
opening
mingling
Airbnbs.
wrinkles movies where it's like old people fall in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Cut to you and
I
me
wanted her to
all of a
name
sudden
one
finding it relevant and
Mingling
important.
Wrinkles. That's what I always wanted her to name those movies. But she, I always think of it as essentially they're trying to recreate a Connecticut town.
Yeah.
In the middle of the mountains.
Oh, they did it.
And they did it because it very much looks like Gilmore Girls should be recorded there.
There are 0 minorities there.
No, there's the only melanin works. Melanin works.
What do you mean?
All the people of color are walking your dog.
Right.
They're working at the
No,
baristas.
It's the classic.
They've been adopted.
White-
There was some adopted.
It's a
I always make that joke.
The classic white liberal who has never met a person of color.
It's
But-
Bernie Sanders, where
Yeah.
all of the black people he know have PhDs, and that's because I've been to Burlington, Vermont. That's why they all have PhDs, because that's where they all go to graduate school.
Okay.
The black people that he's met.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
you're just like, you kill me, bro.
Yeah.
And but heart's in the right place, right? Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, God.
Let's take a break.
Hi, I'm Biz.
And I'm Teresa.
And we host One Bad Mother, a comedy podcast about parenting.
Whether you are a parent or just know kids exist in the world, join us each week as we honestly share what it's like to be a parent. I don't know how to fix mornings for myself. I do not know how to make mornings okay for myself.
So the t-shirt, I don't do mornings,
Yes.
isn't even a funny shirt. I shouldn't get it for you.
It's sad.
It's a sad shirt.
Yeah, it's a sad shirt with tears flowing.
So join us each week as we judge less, laugh more, and remind you that you are doing a great job.
Find us on MaximumFun.org, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Where are we at?
We are at 24:38.
24.
So, like, this bit I've been working on for a long time, I feel like, all right, I guess I got it.
Yeah.
Like, I got it as much as I'm going to get it.
Okay.
And I refuse to tinker with it any longer.
Okay.
And then everything else is sort of like,
Right.
in production, I guess.
Yeah, right. In production, but also I was just thinking about, like, was there that stuff you were talking about the last episode, right? About just about the social skills stuff. You could do material about that. And I was thinking about, like,
I
when
don't think I could.
well, you certainly couldn't with that attitude.
No, but
Allow me
I
just to
I think when I'm on stage, I'm not this person on this
Right.
couch, right? I'm
Right.
a different person.
Right.
Right? And I don't feel like
you'd have to come from that angle. I mean, the thing is you'd have to. The thing, because the person you are when you're with your family is not the person you are about your family on stage either.
Right. But I do.
So nothing you are is this
okay,
person.
I'm a lie. I get it, Jackie.
No, I'm not saying you're a lie. I'm saying is that you would have to want to write from that. And I was, and
I don't. I'm not sure that. For me, I think of a road room, right? And everyone's out and they're having a good time, and it doesn't seem like that's the place for me to drop some energy of I don't like people and I can't talk to people.
but it's okay. I hope my mom dies.
Yes,
that material is
everyone understands
hilarious.
that.
Nobody understands that.
Yes, they do.
Do you know why they do? Because you made it funny. That's why that's why it worked.
Well, I guess I'm not interested in.
In making your journey funny, you're
No, well,
interested.
I mean, certain parts of your life are just like this is. This isn't for stage. It's not interesting enough. I mean, part of what you bring up on stage has to be interesting enough for people that bought tickets to see a show, right?
Right, which and the first step is making it interesting to you. So
Right.
you have to want to write it.
Right.
So it's not. And again, I am doing the thing that I did last episode, which is I'm trying to help. Which there's a meeting for that. It turns out it's called Al-Anon. I mentioned it last time. I don't go, and there might be a reason. But the what about? So what do you think you want to write about? Like, you don't want to write about swimming. You don't want to write about your social situation. You don't want to write about your past.
Jackie, this isn't how I write.
How do you write?
They're like little weeds that grow up through the concrete.
You wanna
That's
write
how
about
jokes get to me.
Weeds. You think about foliage? What's
Jackie?
Are you going to murder me in
Yeah,
this
I am.
episode? This is the episode.
Don't
that
ask
ends
me a
it.
question and wait for an earnest answer, and then
No, what I want is I want a name to the weed. What's the word attached to the weed?
there's no word. Weed is its own word.
Okay. What's the last premise you came up with that you're working on?
I don't think of it as coming up as with premises. It's
Do you write on stage?
no. It's things about I don't know how I write. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's things I remember. I don't know, just things I come up with or little. Once I start something, then I start tagging it. That's just rearranging things all the time, rearranging words and rearranging jokes and all these little notes here. It's just
I'm just always curious how anyone comes up with a new topic.
For me, something has to happen to me.
Yeah. And you don't want to mine the past.
I don't know.
Because mining the past, for me, is what I do just because
saying remember this toy and get an applause break and everyone thinks you're
no
a great comic.
that
Remember Monopoly, guys? Did you guys play Monopoly?
Hardwick used to do this joke about Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
And it was like, remember lunch? Who's had lunch? You guys? And it was a very funny joke. But it was, it's, that's not what I mean. I mean literally like things that happen to you, but not today. Things that happened to you previously. They're called things that happened to you previously in your life. They don't have to happen to you right now, but maybe they do. Maybe that's you only want to write about things that currently happen to you.
I think that. I mean, I don't. I didn't have such a. I don't know. I always think that's deliberately looking for something to talk about on stage.
Yeah, it's called writing.
No, it's not called
stand-up
writing.
comedy.
No,
that's what I do.
No, it's.
Are you saying what are you saying?
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm saying if I were to go, fourth grade. All right, let me just brainstorm fourth grade. To me, it's not that interesting. I guess it's not that interesting. I don't think the past is interesting. My past is interesting, and I think whatever I'm dealing with emotionally now is what I want to talk about on stage.
Okay.
You know? So that's it. And I just, right now, I'm just in a bad mood.
Right.
And
you're just, right. I mean, what I was, and this is to take the focus away from you and bring it on me, because that's where I'm at. Because that's what I tend to do because that's what I do. I mine the past for stories about my family and about myself and about different ages in my life, because they usually have a larger purpose. It's not, remember fourth grade, you went to fourth grade. It's, this is what I was like in fourth grade, if I could remember fourth grade. For example, my fourth grade teacher was gay. I had the biggest crush on him because he seemed like the safest man I'd ever met in my life. And that's a funny line, right?
Yeah.
I just thought of that, but that is entirely true. And there might be comedy there. That might be a premise.
Yeah.
Except for that, because he was an incredibly sweet dude who just wanted to teach fourth graders how to read and write.
Right.
And do arithmetic. And he didn't have anything else to prove, right? He didn't yell. He didn't have any sort of he didn't have like an angry presence. He had a very calm, very almost androgynous kind of vibe to him, because, not a lot of people were out, in 1974 or 73
right.
when I was 8. And
would they have been allowed to even keep a teaching job if they were out?
Right. I don't think he could have.
Doubtful.
I think, So I think he, in South Milwaukee, Wisconsin, probably not. And so I think, so that, I mean, it's not, it's not specifically about, it's specifically about me, and it's specifically about fourth grade, but it's not, but that's when I don't know what to write about.
That's a good jumping point into anything,
bigger
things that are happening now with gay rights and
exactly.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. And it can have, and it could even be, that's why it's soothing for me to go to gay pride and get in the way, or whatever. Like if I wanted to go to gay pride and get in the way, which I don't. I just want to be supportive and
see. To me, if I have something happens to me and there's a way I can claw back to some memory, then yeah. But it has to occur to me that way. I can't go.
You
I can't go memory and then.
It's just different angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
That does remind me though. When I was in 7th grade, Mr. Boylan, who now I know obviously was gay, but I didn't know what gay was, and I had no idea at the time. But he came late to English class, and he looked like he'd been crying, and he said the mayor of San Francisco was murdered, and
Harvey Milk,
a supervisor, and we were like, and this is like Pleasant Hill, 7th grade. We're like, huh? Who? What?
Right.
Like, had no idea. And San Francisco's that's way over there across a bridge.
Right.
Why do you care?
Drive 25 minutes.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with us and our drama.
Exactly.
But that poor guy, man, he had to teach that day.
Yeah. It's a hard day.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just a different way to do it. Hey, are we at 30?
We're at 33.
I think we should do Comic of the Week.
Yes.
Do it.
Wait, who is it?
Maya.
Oh, yes.
Maya May.
Maya May. That's
Yeah,
right.
Maya May.
We were doing 2 today. That's why it was.
Yeah, that's
I
why you're
forgot
like,
who it was.
who was it now? Yeah, because we already did one.
And then we have a list of ladies we're getting to.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, we do. And if and Jackie at Jackie-cation me if you want me to watch your tape and be on it, because
Oh my God,
remember
we're
a couple of
bookers now.
episodes ago?
What?
When you were like, "Are we making one of those lists that we're not on?" Remember that was like 6 months ago. You were like,
Yes.
"I hate that we're making a list that some people
It's
are mad that
awful.
they're not on." So if you're mad that you're not on it, just send it to me and I'll add you to the list.
We'll get to you.
Yeah, we'll get to you. But Maya, it's Maya on stage. MayaOnstage. And Maya May, you worked with her. You just worked with her.
I just did.
I watched videos.
Again, some bar near York, I think,
Okay.
with her, and
Oh.
which describes
Hollywood.
80% of the gigs
Eagle Rock?
in
Yeah.
Los Angeles. But she's very funny. And then we watched some of her stuff on.
Yeah, I think she does a lot of colleges. I think that's what we
Yeah, she
learned.
has a college agent.
That's what I learned from my wandering around the internet looking for Maya.
I think if someone has a
Maya
college
May.
agent, they do a lot of colleges.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
had one and I barely did any.
I know. I had one, and she did her best, and I never got any work. I did one NACA. Did you ever do a NACA?
Yes.
One?
I did 2. The
Okay.
first one I did was a national,
Oh, yeah.
which was
It's
like
expensive.
striking gold, and I didn't even know it, and I didn't know what gold was. Imagine you find gold and you don't know what gold is, and you're like, oh, all right, yeah, I guess so.
All right.
And so I get there, and I had some joke about peanut butter and licking peanut butter off a penis. I was 24, Jackie. And or 26, whatever.
Everybody's got it right.
Whatever. Of course, I was talking about things I've never done. And they're like, "Oh, it's so dirty. That really cost you a lot of work." And I didn't know anything. No one told me anything.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
is you got to know going in that it's being booked by 20-year-olds.
Right. And it
And
has to be really clean.
It has to be clean and yet imply filth.
That helps.
Because it is, and they also have they want to book a lot of diversity, which is kind of cool. I mean,
they
it's
didn't
like,
back then.
well, it was. I did it in. I think it had to be 99, 2000. When did
Yeah.
you do it?
I did it before then. I did it like in the
Mid 90s or something.
96, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
It was when I went. I think that they were just starting to, because there was a lot of Whitey Magoos complaining about all the diversity hires.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, but are they working the clubs? And even I knew that they weren't working the clubs. The comics that were getting that work,
Yeah.
weren't getting the
college
club
work.
work
Yeah.
that the dudes complaining were talking about.
Right.
So I was like, well, suck it up. Even though it was $1,800, I did a national in Boston. Where was your national?
I don't remember. I think it might have been in Boston as well.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, the agency was a new agent. Like everyone was new. It was everyone's first time. The agency, all the comics they had on the roster doing. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
I got a couple of them, but it definitely. I wasn't a college comic.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Well,
you have to have a bouncy, upbeat sort of happiness to you.
there has to be some jam happening that I've never been able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can grind it out, man. There's Pete Lee 1 year, probably 3 years ago, told me he did 96.
I think he's still suffering from post-traumatic stress. It
He very
is
easily could
grueling
be.
and
Yeah.
lonely, and you're constantly
Tracy
talking
Ashley.
to people that are at least 10 years younger than you,
Yep.
and they always want to go to dinner, you know, and
TGI
hang
Fridays
out,
and-
and it's
Yep.
it's the same fucking conversations with the same type of people all the time, right?
And then you got to travel the next day and do
Yeah,
another
it's bad,
one.
and you're
It's
not
pretty
with
grim.
any other comic. You're rarely with other comics, so you have
Yeah.
no one with to talk to, really,
Yeah.
to talk honestly with. Too.
Yeah.
You have to just keep being that upbeat person at the Applebee's. Oh yeah, it's a great campus, so beautiful. What are you studying? Oh my gosh, that sounds so interesting.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
can't-
same
there's-
conversation over and over.
Yeah. It's awful.
Brutal.
But good luck to Maya.
Well, good
she
for you.
makes a
Buy
lot of
land.
money.
Buy land, Maya. Buy land.
Buy fucking land.
Yeah.
Buy it in. Now we need to start. Nikki Glazer asked on Twitter, like, should we start buying land, you know, and keeping climate change in mind? Yeah, I think we actually should. I've heard of, this guy I've been told has a compound in Ireland near fresh water.
In
and
Ireland?
he is ready.
Really?
Yes.
I
He's
have
ready
seen
for
his
the
name,
worst.
but
Yeah.
you believe it?
Yeah.
All right.
And that's
Andy's got an acre in Arkansas
no,
that we can
not
hide
helpful.
at. Not
No.
helpful?
No, it's that. I'm gathering.
It's in the middle.
All of America's toxins are going to Arkansas's water.
Oh, not well, eventually, but so far, no, not so much. I believe
read-
everyone's hiding in Arkansas.
Yeah, that's like Seattle and Washington will be like Santa Monica and California in about
heat-wise?
maybe 100 years. Yeah, in
Okay.
terms of a climate, which it'll be unlivable where we are right now. Perhaps
Sure.
But
Lex
we'll be dead,
Luthor was
thankfully.
right. You gotta buy land in Arizona if you want beachfront. And,
That's a Bill Hicks album title, right? Arizona Beach.
I don't know. I never,
California sink. Well, it's more
the
California
only set I
sinking
ever
into
see
the sea.
Bill Hicks do was the Letterman set that he wasn't allowed to do when they re-aired it.
Right.
I was like, that's not that good.
Oh my God! What an awful human you are. It's confirmed.
It's you know why?
confirmed.
Do you know why it wasn't that good? Because he's been hacked so bad.
He
It isn't
has.
fair.
It's
It isn't
not
fair.
fair.
It's not fair to judge his stand-up. It's sort of like trying to judge George Carlin's stand-up.
I wish I were a dead comedian. Just have my whole life. There's a Stuart Lee joke about Bill Hicks that he wished
yeah?
he could be a dead comedian, so he just judged out of 2 hours of your work.
That's great. And what's weird about Stuart Lee is I always say Stuart Lee as if Andy Kindler and Bill Hicks were one guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's great. And but
I got to watch some more Stuart Lee. That just reminded me.
oh, dude, his 41st. That 41st is my favorite.
They're both
Wait,
two of the best.
the
90s
90s comedian. I'm
comedian?
half this and half that.
No,
That's a newer one.
that's a
Oh, is
newer
it?
one.
Okay.
90s comedian and 41st best.
So good.
41st best comedian in the world, or whatever it's called.
Oh, he was on
It's-
a list.
No, that's what's the name of his special because
Okay.
he was on a. Oh, right, because he was on
Yeah.
a list. You're right,
Okay.
and that's such a great. And his book, have you read his book? Because his book, this is the gutsiest, and I've probably talked about this before. It's the gutsiest book in stand-up comedy. It's a transcription of 2 hours of his material. He quit doing stand-up, annotated, footnoted, talking about why he wrote the bit, why he doesn't do the bit anymore.
Oh my God.
Evolved over time, words he changed within it.
Words he changed, how it evolved.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what Kyle just
Is
said.
there an audiobook of him reading a transcript of his act?
Oh my God. No, you got to read the asterisks.
Jackie, you know I can't read.
You can only write books. You cannot read books.
I hope I'm done by the time this drops with this book I'm reading.
Oh, what are you reading?
I'm reading, it's a book of short stories and I forget. Not
in Ireland. Not set in Ireland? Not set in Ireland.
The author is Indian, and it's Indian Americans in
Okay.
America, and they're all short stories. And I didn't realize it was short stories. I don't even know where I got this book. I just needed to get away from terrorism and the IRA.
Sure.
And I'm like, all right, fiction. And so I read the first one, and the first one, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Then I get to the second one, and it's all of a sudden it's first person. I'm like, well, this is an interesting style of novel.
Oh, weird.
She's switching it, totally switching how she's writing. Interesting.
Is it
and
one
then I
author?
figured out, I'm like, oh, it's, then I looked at the cover, I'm like, oh, it's short stories. But it took
And is
me.
it the same author writing different short stories?
yeah,
or
yeah,
is it
yeah.
Different authors.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But they're
Nice.
all, so far, they're all Indian Americans in America,
Right.
either coming from India or they're like one generation from India.
Oh, interesting.
It's really good.
That's fascinating.
Yes.
I am still reading the third book in the N.K. Jemisin trilogy and a bunch of comic books. So there you go. There was a big kerfluffle on Twitter today with Chelsea Kane about her comic book Man Eaters.
Oh.
Man Eaters is a comic book about essentially they're trying to stop girls from menstruating because there's a virus that turns them into panthers.
Oh my
It's a
God.
It's an amazing comic
Whoa.
book. Yes. Not everyone, but just some of them. So boys drink special water,
Yeah.
and girls drink estropop. And it's supposed to keep their estrogen levels even. And I guess, and I don't know enough about it, but there was a lot of, she made a mistake. And she made a mistake not knowing about it was a trans. She insulted trans women,
Okay.
and then
By accident.
by accident,
Okay.
and then kind of doubled down on it.
Oh.
And then apologized, and then wanted to fix it, but didn't want to pay someone to. She was like, "Hey, if anyone wants to read the last 3, because there's 3 more issues of this series. That's it, and then it's done. There's 3 more issues of the series. If someone wants to read it and give me a sensitivity, or I could be taught. There's no money in it. I can't pay you to do it, and then just a floodgate of, you could pay someone. You could pay someone to do the sensitivity, like if you want that. And it's, what is it, $65 a page, or I don't know what it would be, but it would.
Is she wealthy?
She
She's
isn't
a comic
poor.
book artist. I mean,
She's a comic book writer, but she also has written a bunch of thrillers. She's a very successful author.
Oh, okay.
But she's not she's not Stephen King.
Right.
It would have to be, it's a choice. I don't know what I would recommend she do. I mean, I myself would pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
And Maria, remember when Maria published that, she had to write an article for Medium or something like that. They hired her to write, and she made a couple of jokes in it that were transphobic, and she got busted online about it. And she's doing a very, very heartfelt, funny bit about it, actually.
Oh, wow.
But she took it down, tried to do a rewrite on it, and it cost her money because she had to give the money back.
Yeah.
She was like, "Well, we're not going to publish it. I can't fix it." And then the publishers were like, "It was funny. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "It's funny. You're wrong." And and it's not a case of it has to be funny to everyone. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't not be funny. It shouldn't be mean to one specific group that is already in a hole, right? Climbing out of and overtly being harassed right now,
Right.
So, like,
Murdered in some places.
Yeah, harassed is a euphemism for being not just marginalized.
Yeah.
But so, which made me think actually right now, because we were talking about Fitzsimmons. I did Fitzdog's pod, and he was talking about the Hippocratic Oath of stand-up comedy, and how we should do no harm, right?
Yeah.
And I've been thinking more and more about that, and I was like, I don't mind that. Actually, I don't think it's a bad. I don't think it's a bad idea.
Right.
To do no harm.
Yeah.
I actually am in favor of it.
If you write a joke that's like, kind of dodgy, there's always ways to tweak it.
Yeah.
You can take that essence of that joke and tweak it. You really can. I mean, it's always, you just pivot a little bit, move it over a little bit, and change the angle, and it's always fixable.
Right.
You're not stuck with.
If your initial joke was a little too cruel, or a little too mean, or a little too
there's a way
dumb,
to put it on yourself. There's a way to do it. There's
a way to
always a
move
way.
it.
There's
Yeah.
pretty much always a way. The only thing you can't save if it's a local joke. Those are unfixable, sadly. Unless you want to localize it every single place you go, and then you're like, who are the Armenians of this town? Which I don't have the energy to do, Jackie.
Oh my gosh. South Milwaukee, Wisconsin has revealed on this day in June a statue of the most famous person from my hometown.
Is it you?
It is not me.
Oh.
It is a wrestler, an all-star wrestler from the 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, named the Crusher.
Oh.
I don't know if Randy Lazowski, and he grew up and lived in South Milwaukee and retired in South Milwaukee. And the Crusher was part of a tag team with a guy named the Bruiser. And I don't know if he quoted this. I remember my grandparents loved and it was all regional wrestling at the time. It was a lot like stand-up.
Yeah.
Where you'd go and because he was a bad guy. The Crusher was always a good guy in the Midwest region.
Yeah.
Because he was from Wisconsin and he was always a good guy. I think, to my knowledge, but he was a bad guy or what's called a heel in other regions. And,
Right.
But I remember distinctly watching it with my grandmother when I was little, and there was a line that I think my whole family quoted it for decades, which was, I don't know if he made it up, but he used to call people turkey necks, and saying that they just weren't strong, so they were turkey necks. And but one time he's talking about whoever he's going to fight, Baron von Raschke, who had sort of a Nazi vibe to him, and he said, "This isn't going to be a wrestling match; it's going to be a war." And I remember that line from when I was a kid, and how much I enjoyed it. That's an anecdote right there.
Thank you, Jackie.
Where are we at?
Yeah. 40,
Oh,
49?
there you go.
Okay. So 11:30 left.
Let's take a break.
Yes.
Let's take a break.
Hello, this is Amy Mann,
And I'm Ted Leo.
and we have a podcast called The Art of Process.
We've been lucky enough over the past year to talk to some of our friends and acquaintances from across the creative spectrum to find out how they actually work.
And so I have to write material that makes sense and makes people laugh. I also have to think about what I'm saying to people.
If I kick your ass, I'll make you famous.
The fight to get LGBTQ representation in the show.
We weirdly don't know as many musicians as you would expect.
I really just became a political speechwriter by accident, realizing that I have accidentally pulled my pants down.
Listen and subscribe at MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcast.
It's like if the guinea pig was complicit in helping the scientist.
And we're back from that break.
No, that was way too quick.
Super fast break. This was a nice breeze during that break.
Yes.
You got one?
You know what I'm watching right now?
What do you watch?
Better Things.
What's that?
Okay, it's Pamela Adlon. She was on Louis for a while. She played his girlfriend.
Okay.
And she it was a series that they co-created, and the first couple seasons are on Hulu. It's on FX, I think.
Okay.
It's great, and it's weird because I'm just on season 1, and his name's on all the credits.
Oh,
and
right.
You're kind of like, ooh. And
Yeah.
it's like he is soiled. You know,
He is soiled.
and you see it, and you go, "I'm going to watch it anyway." Which, if you're Pamela Adlon, is like, oh my god, like people have to get over something to watch
Right.
the show, and it's really great, and it's her story. But there's a couple lines where I'm like, that felt like that Louis probably wrote that one, you know?
Oh, right.
But I guess he is involved in the first 2 seasons, and then from then on, she kicked him off. Like
Okay.
after everything happened, and.
But you've only seen the first season so far?
it's great though. She's great.
What is it? What's
She's
the
a
premise?
single mom. She's a single
Oh, okay.
mom of 3 kids, and
Wow.
she's in Los Angeles.
That's
and
a lot
she's
of kids.
doing auditions. Her kids are awful and wonderful
Mm-hmm.
as kids are, and it's great. And that also was, I was kind of like, wow, she's doing that.
Right. But she's
I'm
not
not-
the first one. She's not the first. Was she a stand-up?
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you want to do with this? Let's just talk about this. As we got time, it turns out. Mm-hmm. There's a run that I have 2 of the 3 nights set up because have not heard back
Oh, from the lady?
from the third person.
Oh, okay.
And I think I've got Eugene set up and Bend
Salem?
or
Oh, Bend.
Salem.
Okay.
Because it was going to be Bend, Salem, and Eugene, and 2 of the 3 have responded.
Cool.
So do you just want to do a 2-nighter? Sure. Or maybe someone in Portland.
This is Thanksgiving week.
Yeah,
I'm
the weekend
up
of Thanksgiving.
in Seattle anyway. So for me, I could just head on down.
Oh, for family? You're
Yeah.
doing Thanksgiving in Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you'll just head back down. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's cake, but yeah.
Well, I'll book it.
yeah, it's not like I have to come back from Pittsburgh or something.
Okay. Well, then and I've given it a week for the third person to chime in.
Yeah.
So we'll just we'll do the 2 nights, maybe a third in Portland. But we'll give those 2 the choice of dates.
Okay.
That'll
Very
be
cool.
perfect. Because it was going to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday because of Thanksgiving.
It would be so cool if we could develop enough of a following where we could just
get to do stand up and then do a live pod.
Yeah.
And then just mail it to Kyle. And how great would it be if it made so much money you could come with us?
That would be the best thing ever.
Oh,
there
my
you go.
God.
All right, you guys. That would be so fun.
Kilgariff money. Right?
Exactly.
We want
From now
Kilgariff
on.
money.
That's what you want. You want to call this one Kilgariff money?
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That lady has...
She is the Midas touch.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah, she can't do things and not make money to some extent.
She started Ellen, right?
Was she? Yeah, she was the first head writer,
the inaugural head writer at Ellen.
Yeah.
She kicked off that $1 billion franchise.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Turns out Ellen's pretty talented too, though.
Yeah.
And did you watch the Wanda Sykes
I
special?
did. Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's
I
really
haven't had a
good.
chance.
It's good.
And when I say that, I mean, nope, haven't watched it. But what did I watch on the plane yesterday? Hocus Pocus.
Oh, is that with
movie-
Sandra Bullock and? Wait, what?
Wow, net worth. Here's the thing: when you Google anyone's name and they say net worth, like Karen Kilgariff net worth.
Okay.
If you Google that, if you Google,
Check the spelling, and it immediately brought up her net worth because I guess it's being Googled a lot.
Oh my God.
Mine came up and it said I was worth like $2 million at one point, and I have since checked it, $200,000. This seems much more realistic.
Maybe the $2 million was after you got your new kitchen floor. And they're like,
People were like,
that sounds
remember
awesome.
that kitchen floor, sweet kitchen, and
How
I
is
have
that
tomatoes.
even calculated? They're just
They're guessing.
Who?
I don't know.
Who's
I don't
guessing?
know. If you could, there's a.
Pop up like hers does. It just says you're married to Andy.
Aw, Jackie Cation husband. That's what usually comes up if you Google my name. And, but if you Google Jackie Cation net worth, what do you get? What the heck? There's a clock.
Just your website.
But if you type the words net worth,
Oh yeah, no, with that. Okay. Wait.
Oh, really?
Let's see. Come on. No, it's just got your.
oh, interesting.
You have your own website.
Jackie Cation net worth is $5 million.
Congratulations. Wow. What the fuck?
Wow, you guys. Anybody wants to? I'm clearly
What's
exactly.
mine? What's mine?
Yeah, do Laurie Kilmartin net worth. If mine's $5 million, you have a union job. Let's
I
do this.
If you include my health care.
That's got to be 6, right? Laurie Kilmartin's net worth is
It's loading.
loading.
5 million.
2.5 million.
Wow. Look at you, fancy.
Well, look how fancy. Look how inaccurately fancy.
God damn.
If anybody wants in on my 2015 Corolla, what are you driving?
Oh my! I have a 2006 Honda.
2006.
I don't
Honda.
believe in buying new cars. I think it's a massive waste of money.
It is a massive waste of money. And here's the thing: if we were car people,
Yeah.
What I've always thought about cars is that I'm in my car. If you have a nice car, I win because I get to see your nice car. My car, I just want to have a car
nice
that
cars
drives.
are for looking at?
Yes,
Okay.
that's entirely what they are. I want to see your Tesla. I hope it very nice. I also decided that I tried to start writing the satiric romance novel again, but I've decided because I talked to a couple of people and I've decided to try to write a modern instead because I made the job twice as hard for myself.
You know what?
By making it historical.
Someone going, but also someone the intention of writing satirical humor, it's like it ruins everything. You just write from your voice. You're fucking funny. So you write from Jackie Cation's point of view. You write the kind of thing you want to read. It'll be funny.
Right, but I think, but premise-wise, it, remember I want to write essentially the Galaxy Quest of romance novels.
Right.
That was, and I figured out that if I write a modern romance, where, essentially the dude bro that she ends up, that essentially someone thinks, this woman's a novelist. Mm-hmm. And I believe the premise so far anyway, without me having written anything but 3 pages of it, is that he thinks she's writing a romance novel because they are not respected, and he doesn't respect her. And why wouldn't they fall in love? Huh? Come on, he doesn't respect her. Who doesn't want? Anyway,
I like the idea that you think a man would not have sex with a woman because he didn't respect her.
That seems very unlikely. I know that we've seen traditionally.
He might be more inclined to have sex with her if he didn't respect her
because
intellectually.
there's less work. There's less work. There's no commitment. It's not just men. It's mostly men, but it's not just men. Right. Just because of, and that's only the men that I know. I mean, how many men do you think we've met since the 80s doing stand-up comedy?
Men?
Yeah, just
all of them. I think we've met every man.
We've certainly met all the kinds of men, and I think there are more decent men doing stand-up comedy than ever before.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think the lifestyle of the road really attracted some dirtbags, and it also made people on the bubble of dirtbag and good guy push them over to dirtbag.
Yeah. There was an article I read, very powerful article, about cops and what makes a good cop and what makes a bad cop, and it's hanging out with good cops or bad cops.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, if you're hanging out with a bad cop, most people are lemmings.
Yeah.
And so that they will they will just follow. There's something like 5% of cops are heroes and good people, and 30-40% of, if they work with them, will become good cops and heroes. And then 5% of cops are shitbags, and if 30-40% of people work with shitbags, they lean more towards being bad cops.
That's that percentage probably works across the board with all people, right?
And plumbers. Yeah. Sure, all jobs. What the heck?
Yeah, dirtbag plumbers. Yeah.
So this is the week that, did I say already? This is the Kansas City week. So I'm going to be in Kansas City.
Go see Jackie and Casey.
Yeah, do it, you guys. It should be fun.
Yeah.
And then I'll work on the Oregon run for Thanksgiving weekend.
That's cool.
And that'll be great. And
yeah, I'm on Lake Tahoe, Comedy Attic. Are we done? Oh, see ya.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.